Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the corporate world's more spirited financial performances. Or in this case, some very interesting housekeeping. Today we are looking at Vision Marine Technologies Incorporated's latest report. Stick around because we've got some fresh numbers looking back at their financial year and what it all means for the future. And of course, if you love getting these kinds of straight up, no fluff insights from official documents, make sure you are subscribed and join our Discord community linked in the description below. Alright, so what we have here is a report of foreign private issuer. Basically a way for companies like Vision Marine Technologies Incorporated to file important updates with the SEC. It is for the month of November 2025, and it includes their audited consolidated financial statements for the fiscal year that just ended on the 31st of August of 2025. They are also showing us their management's discussion and analysis, which is sort of the company's own narrative about how they did and why. Now, for the big stuff, the financials. This filing gives us a look at their financial statements for the years ending the 31st of August in 2025, 2024, and 2023. This allows us to see the trends and how the company has been performing over a few years. It's always good to compare these periods to understand the direction the company is going. We also have certifications from their CEO and CFO. This is basically a formal statement from the top brass confirming that they've reviewed these reports and that, to the best of their knowledge, the information presented is accurate and fair. It's a standard part of these filings showing accountability. Let's dive into the balance sheet as of the 31st of August 2025. Total assets stand at approximately $156 million US. Now, looking at the breakdown, we see property and equipment at around $10 million. This is the stuff like their factories and machinery. Intangible assets, which include things like patents and brand value, are listed at about $6 million. For property and equipment, the gross carrying amount is just over $10 million. This is the original cost of their fixed assets, and the accumulated depreciation and amortization for these assets is about $3.6 million. This depreciation is essentially how much value these assets have lost over time due to wear and tear or becoming outdated. Looking at intangible assets, the gross carrying amount here is about $15.8 million. This signifies the total value of things like their intellectual property and brand recognition. Accumulated amortization for these intangibles stands at over $10 million, meaning a significant portion of their value has been recognized as an expense over time. On the other side of the balance sheet, total liabilities are around $50 million. This includes things like their long-term debt and lease liabilities. What is really interesting here is that the total equity, which is what the owners effectively own, is about $106 million. This means their assets are significantly larger than their liabilities, which is generally a good sign of financial health. Now let's look at the more immediate picture. Current assets, which are things like cash and accounts receivable that can be converted to cash within a year, total about $36 million. On the flip side, current liabilities, which are what they owe within a year, are around $21 million. This results in a positive working capital, meaning they have more short-term assets than short-term debts. This suggests they can meet their immediate financial obligations comfortably. Shifting to the cash flow statement, the company used about $17 million in operating activities for the year ended the 31st of August 2025. This means that their core business operations consumed more cash than they generated. This can happen for various reasons like investing in inventory or increased accounts receivable. In investing activities, they used about $1.7 million. This typically involves spending on long-term assets like property, plant, and equipment. Financing activities provided about $18.5 million. This usually comes from issuing debt or equity or receiving funds from these activities. It seems they raised a good amount of capital this year, which helped offset the cash used in operations. Now let's talk about revenue for the year ended the 31st of August 2025. Their consolidated revenue was approximately $45 million. When we compare this to the previous year, it's a decrease. In 2024, revenue was around $54 million, so that's a drop of about $9 million, or roughly 16%. This is a significant decline, and it's worth digging into why. Following that revenue trend, gross profit also saw a dip for 2025. It was about $8.7 million, down from $12.4 million in 2024. That's a decrease of about $3.7 million, or nearly 30% since revenue decreased by 16% and gross profit decreased by 30%. This indicates that their cost of goods sold has risen faster than their revenue, squeezing their profit margins. Imagine the cost to make each boat or provide each service went up more than they could charge for it. And looking at the bottom line, profit for the year ended the 31st of August 2025 was a loss of approximately $9.8 million. This is a considerable increase in losses compared to the previous year when they reported a loss of about $2.7 million. So the company went from losing about $2.7 million to nearly $10 million in 1 year, which is a significant worsening of their financial performance. This points to some serious challenges they are facing. Let's touch on risks. They mention contingent liabilities, which are potential future obligations. The exact amount can be uncertain, but these are things like lawsuits or other claims that could cost the company money if they lose. They also have commitments, which are basically future obligations they have agreed to, like long-term leases or contracts. These are important to keep an eye on as they represent future cash outflows. One interesting item is their financial instruments measured at fair value through other comprehensive income. This means the changes in their value are recorded in a separate part of equity, rather than directly hitting the profit and loss statement. This is often used for investments that the company doesn't intend to sell in the short term. They do not have any goodwill listed on their balance sheet. Goodwill typically arises from acquisitions where a company pays more than the fair value of the acquired company's net identifiable assets. The absence of goodwill here suggests they haven't made any major acquisitions recently that would create it. Throughout the filing, you see mentions of Nautical Ventures grouping member. This is likely referring to a key subsidiary or a significant part of their overall business structure, probably related to acquisitions or specific business segments that are important to their operations. Scroll well, looking at these numbers for Vision Marine Technologies Incorporated. It paints a picture of a company that is going through a tough stretch. The revenue drop is concerning, but the even bigger decline in gross profit and the resulting jump in net losses suggests that their costs are a real problem. It's like trying to bail out a boat with a bigger hole in it. They raised quite a bit of cash through financing, which is good to cover immediate needs, but the underlying business performance needs a serious turnaround strategy. Scroll the increased losses and reduced revenues highlight a few key risks. The first is execution. Are they able to produce and sell their products efficiently enough to turn a profit? Second, market demand. Is the market for their electric boats shrinking, or are competitors eating into their market share? And given the increased costs relative to revenue, there is also a risk of their cost structure being mismanaged or facing external pressures they can't control. Scroll on the flip side, the company is still showing positive equity, meaning their assets outweigh their liabilities, which is always a baseline positive. The fact that they raised capital also shows some investor confidence, or at least a need and ability to secure funds during a challenging period. However, the current direction is clearly not sustainable in the long run. They need to either significantly boost revenue and manage costs better, or find a new strategic path. Scroll in conclusion, Vision Marine Technologies Incorporated is facing significant financial headwinds. The current trend of increasing losses and decreasing revenues is a major red flag, while they have managed to secure financing. The core business needs to demonstrate a clear path to profitability. Until that happens, it's going to be a bumpy ride for this company. Alright, that is our deep dive into Vision Marine Technologies Incorporated's latest financial report. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Do you see a path to recovery? Or are these losses a sign of deeper trouble ahead? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us out, and make sure you subscribe for more of these corporate deep dives. And don't forget to join our Discord community. Thanks for watching. See you next time.